welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is DJ. If this is your first time here, please do by subscribing. You're going to have a great time on this channel. And if this is not your first time, welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be doing something totally different. Squid Game season 2 just came out. I'm going to be reviewing it, spilling the tea and all that in this video. This is not going to be a long video, so you guys just stay put. Let's just get right into this video right now. After watching this season, I have decided to divide it into 5 main aspects of 5 main things I feel this particular season was centered about. And the first one is a revolution, greed, or let's just say human nature and morality, family, like family values and societal values, let's just call that family, then deceit, which can also be under human nature, but I just had to separate that as deceit, and finally organ trafficking. So I'm just going to take in that one by one. The first point we're going to be talking about is revolution, and I feel this particular season was really centered about revolution. We can see this in different societies where the oppressed are really tired and they stand up and want to fight against their oppressors and to get like power, freedom, their rights. They're just fed up, and that was something that I feel was really captured in this particular season, and I loved it. We could see that play in different aspects when they all ganged up right from the beginning. They already had it in mind there was going to be some kind of revolution to end the game, and in the course of the game there was a whole particular point where it was centered on the revolution, and I love the fact that they took their time to act that part out and send out the message well. The next aspect of this video we'll be talking about is greed. We saw that play a whole lot in this particular season. Like this season, greed was like here. And we could see that especially being played out during the voting sessions. Like obviously these people had accumulated some amount of money that could, would I say, it was reasonable money, although some of them made it clear that the money couldn't really clear their debts, but to an extent they had acquired a reasonable amount of money, but they were not tired to actually just ready to go back into their share, and they were like, you know what, let's stop this game. No, they were willing to go to get more at the expense of what you might even die along the way. But it's just buttressing greed, like human nature. You're never fulfilled, you want more, which sometimes is not logical, but you can just hit human nature and things like that. When we're talking about morality also, you could also see it in the part where the person who became the new frontman, as this is a spoiler alert, just so you know, as the new frontman had decided to enter into the game. So the person that now became the new frontman was busy doing the organ trafficking that was stopped in season 1, like when the main frontman found out about it, just showing that like they had become corrupt at some point, or obviously another new set of people had come up to be corrupt, just trying to eat, we call this eat where they did not so, but basically trying to reap from the people by selling out their organs to make more money, even though this was clearly breaking the rules of the game. Now, the third aspect of this particular season that I loved, that was stressed enough, was family values. We saw this play in different aspects of the characters, but let me just stress some few so that the video is not so long. We saw this play with the frontman and his police brother. We saw this play with the YouTuber and his girlfriend who is pregnant. I had the soft spot for those people, guys. Allow me to be partial. The guy was a YouTuber, so we also saw this play with the guy whose daughter had cancer and he had to come and play. We saw this also playing out with the person who was a shooter, 011, who had let her daughter in North Korea, and was trying to get her daughter back. We saw this play with also the guy with the curly hair and his mom who was there with him in the game. So family was really stressed. Another aspect that we're talking about is deceit. We saw this play out with the captain and the policeman. If you can remember, he kept deceiving them pretty much because it's obvious that he had something to do with that island. I'm telling you, it's obvious he had something to do with that island, and I could see it. Before it was made clear to us, I could kind of see it, but it was clear that he deceived them. He kept making them go in circles. At some point, he even killed one of the gang members, of the crew members that were coming to look for the island, so that he would just spill off his secret that he had something to do with it when he was tampering with his drone. We also saw deceit play within the first man when he came to play the game, which is player 001, and the second to the last player, which is player 456, who is the main character. Clearly, that guy just gives you play some kind of funny games there because you're literally the person that I am looking for, but you're there. deceiving me, and we're maybe like a team now. We become sad, sad, sad. There was also a point where I don't know if we would classify this as deceit, but I would want to classify this as deceit. When the mom and her son, she had finished talking to her son about how he should really vote for them to go home, let them go. But at the end, he went there and he just said to vote to stay. Like the mom felt so betrayed. Finally, we're going to talking about the organ trafficking. I love the fact that they brought back this issue to this season too, because that was something that really stood out for me in season one. I don't know why. Maybe I just felt like when the movie was going on, I really liked the fact that they like brought real life issues into the movie. So I kept thinking, okay, what would they do for season two? I would love if they actually bring out something that's happening in our normal society back into the season. And I really loved it when I saw that at least they talked about organ trafficking and other aspects. So I give it to the producers. They did a great job in that. Now let's just take a small turn. Let's talk about the spin-off. There was a point, the last episode, the last part of the episode, right? There was a point where some players, after the post-credit scene, the spin-off, yeah, there was a point where some players were walking towards the door for the red lights, green light, and after some point they showed another door there. So now I tried to do some little research, and apparently it's a book in Korea. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Let's discuss in the comment section. But from the little I could find, because I couldn't really find so much about it, but the little I could find about it was it's an old classical or a book in Korea where those two are actually dolls or characters in that, and then they are siblings. But now bringing a second doll is like, okay, are they going to make the second doll worse than the first doll? Is the second doll going to be more crazy, going to do more crazy things? Is it that they're going to bring up more crazier games? Is red lights, green lights going to become something? Guys, that part really stood out for me. So I want us to really talk about it in the comment section. I'm open to it. I want to hear what you actually think about that spin-off. Obviously, it's going to lead us, it's probably a spin-off of season 3, trying to link us with season 3, but I really want us to talk. I know, because of me, I'm as curious as you are. If you were to ask me, as shady or as funny as this may sound, my best character was the front man, especially when he was playing as player 001, that's player 1. I loved his character. Like, I don't know, at some point, I just fell in love with his character, and I can't really say why, but I just liked his character at that point. I was watching with my younger sister, and the girl was like, how can he be your best character? But I'm like, I don't know why. Maybe he's acting well, or he's just playing his part well, or maybe he's showed at some point he had human emotion. So I kind of just had a soft spot for him. My worst character was Thanos. I call him Thanos. He was my worst character. Whether he's a junkie or a field rapper or whatever he is, that guy was a whole lot. Like, the point where he died, I think that was one of the best scenes for me in that movie, because I was just tired of him. He was a lot to handle, but he acted well. I give it to him as well. Okay, let's put a stop first. If you didn't notice, I'm dressed in green in solidarity with the players. So yes, I feel you would just have noticed it, but I had to stress it. Yeah, so I'm wearing green. I would have worn like a number, but I didn't have that. But basically, I just love how I'm looking, and I just had to point that out, even though clearly maybe you would have noticed by now. So you guys, a general review for the movie, I would say I love the fact that they changed the games, because when I started watching like season 2, I kept wondering, I was like, the way season 1 was, how would they make season 2? But then I love the fact that they changed the games, and we didn't even see that coming. After red light, green light, the game just changed. I'm like, what happened? Also, I feel for season 2 they were way nicer to the players, because they usually allow them to vote after every game, and after they voted they allow them to even go back with the money. But season 1 they allowed them to vote like at the earlier stages, but they didn't go back with any money basically. So I feel they became nicer, which is good. Also, I kind of feel season 2 ended up abruptly, like the way it just ended, like, okay, what happens next? But it makes sense, because there's going to be season 3. Apparently season 3 has already been filmed side by side with season 2, so I'm sure season 3 will be like a continuation of season 2, so that's probably why. If not, why did it just end abruptly like that? Also, I love the fact like the island is colorful, it's playful, it doesn't scream seriousness. But reverse is the case of what goes on in that island. A lot of killing, a lot of crazy things occur. So I like, it was a blend of like sweet and bad, evil and good, sweet and sour. It was just, I loved it. Also, I finally figured it out that that marksing, like the red marks that those killers, the shooters wore, the ones with the triangle, box, circles, it signifies, I would like to say it signifies them being dehumanized because these are normal people every day, but once they wear that mask, I just want to shoot whoever they are. You know, there were people who spoke about how they shot their parents, they shot people they knew. It clearly signifies dehumanizing them, basically. Yeah. At this point, we're just going to give like a brief run through for the different episodes, what I feel stood out for me at the episodes, what I feel were just at the different episodes. Alright, so for episode 1, I loved the fact that the police was still alive. Do you know, I kept thinking about that since I finished season 1. I was like, come, would this guy actually die? I was able to end, blah, blah, but I loved the fact that he was alive. Like, I'm like, you know what? If you needed to see the smile on my face once I found out he was still alive, like I was so happy. Also for episode 1, it clearly showed that these people still had trauma. That's talking about the policeman and the other main character, player 4, 5, 6. It's clear they still had PTSD, trauma they had been living in for 2 years, because obviously it's 2 years post, like they had come out from the island. So it's obvious that they were still living with a lot of PTSD and a lot of trauma, which it just kind of, at that point when I was watching it, I just felt like, you know what, we keep saying time heals everything, which to be honest, time heals a lot of things, time heals wounds, but there's some wounds that you need help. Maybe you start a psychiatrist, a therapist, prioritize your mental health. Like time may not actually just heal it, may just be coping. Do you get? Finally, episode 1, I give it to the producer, guys. Episode 1 was crazy for me when the recruiter died himself, like when he put the gun here and he
died himself.
I didn't mean died himself, I mean like he died himself, but okay. Oh, yeah. Someone is laughing at me for thinking I just spoke wrong English. Okay, maybe I did, but basically he killed himself. Let me put it that way. Like, it was like I didn't see that coming, because when he was playing the games and it was obvious after the other guy had won, he was going to die. I expected him to just flip the script and kill him. After all, okay, what's gonna happen? But the fact that he stood, killed himself, like, looked him in the face and even told him how I had killed my dad, blah blah blah. I'm like, you know what, this guy is probably a psychopath. Like, whatever human in his heart has been removed, yanked out. But then I now feel this show shows a difference between him and the frontman, because at some point at least it showed that the frontman kind of had human emotions at some point in the course of the season. But for that recruiter, it felt like whatever human in him had been killed, like, and that was the plot twist. I love the way season 1, episode 1 ended. So for episode 2 started as a comedy, because it was I'm not speaking proper English, because episode 2 started with comedy in the bathroom. That funny guy and like the main character were busy wondering what to do and how they don't trust police. Like, then after that we now moved to the circus or the park where they were playing. It was like a fun fair and something like that, and they were just all so happy. When I was watching that, another of my sisters that was in dream was like, wait, are you watching Squid Game? It sounds too happy to be Squid Game. And at that point, that's kind of what I felt. Everything was just too jolly, and I kept wondering, okay, obviously it's Squid Game. We obviously know how part 1 was, so part 2 has to be some kind of gory. So I kept wondering, how are they going to transition from this whole jolly, point that they started from, to like the Squid Game we know. But guess what, guys? It was a smooth transition. The way they like brought back the characters in, I loved it. I loved it so much. Episode 2 was where there was an alliance between the police and player 4, 5, 6, which is great. Episode 2 was also where player 4, 5, 6 finally said, put me back in the game. When he said those words, put me back in the game. I have a small note here that I'm just checking for the main point, and I literally put me back in the game in like quotation, because when he said it, I actually rolled my eyes watching it, like literally put me back in the game. Episode 2 was where the girl that was looking for her daughter was finally revealed as a shooter with the triangle like on her head. Guys, I didn't even know how to feel after that. I could not wait for episode 3. Clearly I binge watched it. I just moved on to episode 3 after that. At the point of episode 3, I kept wondering, what is the deal with this policeman? Because clearly you know your brother is a front man. So what game are you trying to play? Like acting like you don't know who the front man is, you want to go back there. But at some point I obviously figured it out that okay, he probably most likely maybe wants to go back there to save his brother, or maybe still talk to the brother to leave, bring the brother back to life or something like that. Episode 3 was also where they played the red light, green light game. As they were playing that game, nostalgia. I loved it. Ah, episode 3 was also where the tracker from the guy's teeth was literally removed. At that point, I'm just like, oh my god, these people are literally going to start now having to move in circles. And clearly, that was what happened. I saw the past, I saw the future from the past, I saw the future. Yeah. Yes, and also episode 3 was where the girl shooter, number 011, spared the guy that his daughter had cancer. Like, it was such a touching moment because when she was the shooter, I'm just like, oh my god, she's just going to be killing people. Maybe what's her character going to be like? But obviously, it's obvious that she had a soft spot for him because she kind of was also looking for her daughter, and he knew his daughter was sick, so she spared him. And I'm shocked that none of them actually noticed it. It ended with the front man going back into the game as player 001. At this point, I just feel that if I ever find myself in that game, or if anybody ever finds themselves in that game, never trust 001. Maybe they always have a thing to do with the game at this point. For episode 4, a whole lot happened. So permit me, I'm just going to be reading from my little notes so that I don't mix things up. It was where I noticed a lot of greed from the voting, because at the point of episode 4, I kind of felt okay, most of the characters would actually want to leave and go home. They've accumulated some amount of money, but clearly they did not. They kept voting to stay. Episode 4 was also where organ trafficking was touched, and I was really, really happy that they were talking about real life problems that are happening in the whole world right now. There's a lot of organ trafficking and things like that. So I love the fact that it was actually portrayed in that episode. Also, I would like to see at episode 4, you know how there's this whole thing of okay, your colleagues are not your friends, and to be honest, there's definitely some truth to that. Like, I do believe that to an extent, but in this place, we saw that the policeman, his colleague, would I say, was kind of his friend, or his friend was colleague, yeah. And he really, really was also always there begging for his friend, let him not be sacked, give him a better position, give him another chance. And it was so cute to see that friendship was also portrayed in that episode, or in this part of the season. Also, in this particular episode, it was where player 001, which is the front man, has showing some form of human emotions, like okay, Stephanie, you know what, he wasn't so bad after all. You guys, there's going to be some bias here, because clearly I already stated that I kind of still liking player 001, so maybe that's why I'm saying this. Who knows? Please let's talk in the comment section. Who was actually your best player? Who was your worst player? Or best character was character? I'm really, really curious. I obviously know it's not only me that like player 001, so guys, let's argue this in the comment section. Also, for episode 4 was where they played the game, the 6-leg game, or 6-feet game. Yeah, they played the game where we're going to be six, we're going to play different games, and if somebody loses their game and we run out of time, we'll be killed. You know, there's this saying, I don't know why this came to my mind when I was watching this one, but there's this saying that says, if you're friends with if you guys are like a group of 5 friends, and you say there are 4 foolish friends, it's not true. Check, there are 5 foolish friends. I don't know how, but that was just what came in my mind when I was watching like that particular scene where for the scene of this person we're going to die basically. Yeah. In episode 4 also, I loved it. Maybe this dark humor, but I really loved the part where they slapped that we call her a Sia or a sorcerer or whatever. Like the way she was slapped back to her senses, I just laughed. You guys should also tell me why my younger sister, when I was watching this particular season with her, and because of playing this game, when the main characters were playing their own like part of the 6-leg game, tell me why my younger sister noticed Nigerian flag. Like, you guys, I wore this obviously to signify the players of the Squid Game, but clearly it's also giving Nigeria green, white, green, so who knows. For episode 5, I think the main thing that actually stood out for me for episode 5 was basically when I feel the mother was kind of betrayed by her son in the voting. She actually thought her son spoke to her son, said, you know what, let's vote to go, we'll try and join money and get a better life, blah blah blah. But the son went there and he tried just voted to stay. Although he had his own reasons. At some point, putting myself in the shoes of the people who voted to stay, I don't really blame them because guess what? These people actually even stated that the money they've even acquired here is not even going to be able to help them to even clear their debt. So why should they leave? So putting myself in that point, I could kind of get where they were coming from. But at the same point, I'm just like, the chances of you leaving this place is 1 out of 456. So 455 people are literally going to die for you to survive and win it. So, but maybe they were not just being logical, but at the same time, well, most of us find ourselves in places where, you know what, it's more of a life or death situation. So guess what, you can't really blame them, right? Episode 6 was where the Mingo game was played basically. And for me, I feel I would like to link it with the glass game in season 1 because I felt the glass game was the game that just had me, hey, like this, like that glass game was really, really horrifying for me. So watching this Mingo game, yeah, maybe the glass game was obviously more kind of horrifying for me than the Mingo game, but at the same time, I also feel like the Mingo game was that game that gave me that rush among all the games that were played in this particular season. Also, at the Mingo game was where the point where the frontman, which is now player 001, his dark side came back in back to limelight where he killed another player just so to make sure that there are only two in the box in the room basically. And generally I would say there was a lot of trauma bonding somehow in this season, which was another point that was shown throughout the season. Episode 7, when we call it the climax or the end, yeah, it was when the revolution finally took place, or what we would like to call the revolution took place. And it was really, really something beautiful to watch because I didn't even think they would be able to. I kept trying to wonder, okay, how are they going to do this? Are these people this strong? Who are people that are going to betray them? Although from the beginning it was clear that they were outnumbered by the soldiers, but it was really, really nice to see these people who had stood their ground. And I feel that's what a lot of us as a society, even me as someone in society, should learn. You know what? Being that one person can make a difference some way. The front man, my favorite character, unfortunately, finally betrayed them and went back to being the front man. Although it ended with him killing the other player that he had held previously and leaving player 456. So this keeps a lot of us, the watchers, wondering, okay, what's really happening here? Is it that he killed like the other player because he felt, oh, the other player was selfish, or like he didn't deserve to live, for the part where he betrayed them and went to go and vote to stay? Or is it something different? He leave player 456 because he kind of felt like, because clearly in the game it's obvious that the people that are now the management have kind of been in the game at some point. You see that they're trying to recruit him, okay, to show him that, you know what, it's just going to be there, it's just a vicious circle. So you'll be trying to keep him in line so that someday maybe he could be recruited to be part of them. We never can tell, right? Let's just run through some speculations that me have come up with. Me, I want to believe that there is some truth to these my speculations. Don't forget, we are discussing in the comment section. But my first speculation is that player 001, which is the front man, is going to come and join the revolution at some point. I feel he's going to have some change of heart. Maybe his police brother will come and meet him and there will be some change of heart, and he might decide to change and leave like the bad guys, the management, and help the players. But then since they had already introduced another character who is the new frontman, or like, okay, the frontman that was acting in his place when he was playing the game, I feel that one will now come and be the main opposition, the one that wouldn't want the game to end. My next speculation is that the captain clearly has something to do with the island. And my speculation is that, if you can remember in season 1, the frontman did shoot his brother on the chest. He shot him on the arm, in the arm basically, which shows that I feel he didn't actually want to kill him. And guess what? He fell into the river. So my speculation is that the captain obviously maybe was sent by him to go and rescue his brother, but never lead him to the place. That's how me I feel. That was me I feel. Also, I feel the shooter 011, I kind of feel like at some point she's going to join the revolution to end this nonsense or this bullshit. Also, that player that had a child that had cancer, if you noticed, he wasn't shot. Okay, he was meant to be like shot during the revolution, shot like by his chest, on his like heart. But then he wasn't shot there. If you notice, the person that actually shot him kind of tilted their gun and shot like somewhere else, like maybe just close to that place. And the person was doing a triangle. So who knows? Maybe it's actually that other player that had a soft spot for him that saved him during the red light, green light game. So guys, to wrap up this video, I'd like to say I did enjoy Squid Game season 2, although I feel like season 1 maybe it gave me a whole lot of rush more than season 2, but at the same time I love season 2. They tried, they gave us a good show. We can't wait for season 3. Please, season 3 should do and come out because we need to continue the show. Like, I need to finish the story. Guy, I can't wait for it. Shout out to the producers, shout out to the watchers. Please don't forget, let's comment in the comment section and talk about this, because even me, I need to finish the speculations. I would like to know what your own views are on the show. Did you enjoy season 2 more than season 1? Did you enjoy season 1 more than season 2? What did you think were the things that were the loopholes that you think would come up again in season 3? I would definitely want to know that. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Love you, and see you guys in my next video. Bye.